You know those games that feel less like you're playing and more like you're watching an awesome movie? Today we're looking at some of the perfect games that are absolute cinema. These games nail the storytelling, the atmosphere, the visuals, all of it, and they pull you in like you're part of an epic film. Let's jump in. Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human is one of those games that doesn't just feel like a movie, it is a movie, but one where you're in control the whole time. The graphics are insanely realistic. Every scene looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie, and the characters are brought to life with some of the best voice acting and motion capture you'll ever see in a game. Their faces, their emotions, how they move, it's all super real. The story takes place in a future version of Detroit where androids, basically human-like robots, work for real people. Some clean houses, some do tough jobs, some take care of kids, but things start to get messy when the androids begin to feel emotions. They start thinking for themselves and asking questions like, why am I being treated like a machine? That's where your story begins. And in this game, you don't just control the story of one android, but 3. Each one has a totally different personality, and each story feels like its own mini-movie. But what's really cool is how these stories start to connect as you play. And the best part, you choose what happens. Every single choice you make matters. Save someone, lie, fight, run, stay silent. It all changes the outcome. People can live or die. Big scenes might not happen if you made a different call earlier. And by the end, you've got tons of possible endings based on what kind of person or android you turned each character into. The world itself looks amazing, from futuristic cityscapes and rainy back alleys to warm, quiet apartments and high-tech labs. Every location feels lived in and real. There's a strong mood in every scene, whether it's tense, sad, hopeful, or scary. The music backs it all up perfectly, with different themes for each character, soft piano, heavy drums, or electronic beats depending on the moment. What makes Detroit Become Human so special is how cinematic it all feels without losing what makes games fun. You're not just watching the story, you're shaping it. You're making tough calls and seeing the effects play out right in front of you. And the branching path system is one of the best ever. After each chapter, you can even look at a full flowchart that shows all the different choices you could have made. It's pretty wild how they devs went all in with the choices and narrative branches. This is a game you can play multiple times and still find new stuff, new scenes, new dialogue, even whole new endings. It's that deep, and with how good the acting and writing is, it really does feel like you're starring in a top-tier sci-fi movie. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now we're talking cinema with a cowboy hat, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is honestly one of the most cinematic, emotional, and straight-up beautiful games ever made. This isn't just a Western-themed open-world game, it's a slow-burning, heartbreaking, character-driven movie that you get to live in. Rockstar didn't just make a game here, they made a full-on experience, packed with drama, insane visuals, and a story that sticks with you long after it's over. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw trying to survive while his gang slowly falls apart. And the thing is, Arthur's not just some video game cowboy, he feels real. He's tough, loyal, flawed, and thoughtful in a quiet way. You're riding with him through his whole journey, watching him question the life he's living, watching his loyalty get tested, and depending on how you play, watching him try to be a better man before it's too late. It hits hard, especially toward the end. Honestly, it's one of the best written characters ever in a game. The story takes its time, and that's on purpose. It's all about building relationships, tension, and emotional weight. You spend hours with the gang, not just on missions, but around the camp, talking, playing cards, listening to people argue, or tell stories by the fire. It's like living inside a long, detailed HBO drama with layers of storytelling and big, powerful moments. And the cinematography here is absolutely next level. Rockstar really leaned into that movie look. You've got slow pans across mountains during sunset, close-ups during emotional cutscenes, and wide shots of Arthur riding alone through the snow. The animations are super detailed, and everything from how characters walk to how they sit on their horse feels smooth and natural. It's honestly crazy how much effort they put into the little thing.
I'm worried my path is coming to an end, Mr. Swanson.
Even the missions feel like scenes out of a movie. Robbing a train at night in the rain, breaking someone out of jail, riding through gunfire while the music swells. The game knows how to make moments feel big without needing a cutscene every time, and when it does cut to a proper scene, the acting and writing carry it just like a film. And even outside the main story, the world itself feels alive. You can walk into a saloon and get into a bar fight, or run into a stranger in the woods who needs help, or watch the sunset from your horse while birds fly overhead. Uncharted Series. At the center of it all is Nathan Drake, treasure hunter, smartass, and all-around lovable rogue. He's not just a gun-toting action hero, he's got real charm, and you actually get to see him grow across the games. In the early games, he's cocky and always chasing the next big score, but by the time you hit Uncharted 4, you see this dude wrestle with his past, question who he's become, and try to walk away from the life that keeps pulling him back in. And the story is told across 4 main games, plus Lost Legacy, and each one feels like its own self-contained movie. You're going from jungle ruins to snowy mountains, lost cities, deep sea wrecks, war zones, all shot with clean camera work and perfectly timed cutscenes. The transitions between gameplay and cinematics are so smooth you barely notice when the control shifts back to you. It just flows so well. And the set pieces? Legendary. A crumbling building in Nepal, a plane falling out of the sky, a train fight on a moving mountain railway, driving through muddy streets while buildings explode around you. Every game has at least 3 or 4 moments that feel like they were made for the big screen, and the fact that you're not just watching these scenes, you're in them, makes it all feel even more intense. Uncharted 4 especially takes things to another level. It slows down a bit, shows you Nate's home life, his relationship with Elena, and his long-lost brother Sam showing up out of nowhere. It's more mature, more personal, and the visuals, honestly, they still hold up like a movie today. The final chapter of the series is packed with big set pieces, sure, but also a whole lot of emotion and quiet storytelling. It closes Nate's story in a way that feels satisfying and earned, like the end of a great film trilogy. And let's not forget Lost Legacy. Chloe and Nadine's adventure is shorter, but it still has everything that makes Uncharted great. Incredible scenery, smooth pacing, funny character dynamics, and more wild action moments than most games can dream of. God of War Ragnarok. Everything from the way the camera moves to the way the scenes are put together makes it feel like a full-on cinematic experience. It's not just the story that's good, it's the way it's told. No loading screens, no cuts. The whole game plays out in one long camera shot, which keeps you locked in from beginning to end. The opening Thor boss fight is the perfect example of this. It doesn't waste any time. You're just a few minutes in and suddenly Thor shows up at your door. The fight isn't just cool to watch, you're in it. It's big, loud, intense. The way the fight moves from place to place, breaking walls and shaking the house, sets the tone right away. You know from that point on, this game is going to be packed with huge moments.
He died of the wounds you gave him. Oh, the model father.
The game takes you across all kinds of beautiful locations. You'll explore frozen lakes, mountain paths, ancient ruins, and other Norse realms, each one with its own look and feel. The graphics are crazy detailed. Snow crunches under your boots, armor shines in the sunlight, and the lighting in caves and temples gives everything a dramatic vibe. You can pause the game at any moment and it'll still look like a screenshot from a CGI animation. The set pieces throughout the game are a big reason it feels so cinematic. You'll be fighting giant monsters, running through crumbling buildings, riding on sleds through snowy woods, and the way it's all presented keeps the energy up. It never feels like you're just watching something happen. You're always in control, even when the scene gets big and dramatic. Quantum Break. This one's kind of a hidden gem when it comes to cinematic games. It mixes third-person shooting, time powers, and full-on live-action TV episodes. Yeah, seriously, it literally has real TV-style episodes between gameplay chapters. It's probably one of the most straight-up movie-like games ever made. You play as Jack Joyce, a regular dude who ends up in the middle of a science experiment gone wrong. His friend's brother builds a time machine, something breaks, and now Jack can control time. Meanwhile, everything around him is falling apart. The world, time itself, and a shady company called Monarch is hunting him down. What makes Quantum Break feel like cinema is the way it's built. You play a chunk of the game, then you get a full 20-minute live-action episode that shows the story from the villain side. It's all professionally shot with real actors like Shawn Ashmore and Aidan Gillen from Game of Thrones, good lighting and strong performances, and the wild part is these episodes actually change depending on what choices you made during the game, so your decisions in gameplay literally shape what you see on screen. The gameplay itself also looks super slick. Jack's time powers make the combat feel really fast and flashy. You can stop time around enemies, dash across the screen, throw time bombs, and even freeze bullets in mid-air. It makes every fight feel like something out of a sci-fi movie. The world also reacts to your powers in cool ways, like shattered glass floating in the air or time glitching mid-fight. Visually, it looks awesome, especially when everything starts to fall apart later in the story. The pacing is tight too. The game doesn't drag. You move from action scenes to story to the live action parts, and it all flows well. Plus, the story's actually interesting. It's all about time travel, messed up friendships, secrets, and the idea that some things might be locked in fate no matter what you do. Kind of mind-bendy, but not too hard to follow. The Last of Us.
It's the outside.
So is that everything you hoped for?
Can't be any worse.
This one's a no-brainer. The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 aren't just games, they're straight-up cinema you can play. Both of them are built to feel like a movie from start to finish. The acting, the camera work, the music, the lighting, everything is polished and emotional, but what really makes them stand out is how smooth the whole experience feels. Like you're playing the game, but it never really feels like you're being pulled out of a story. Let's start with The Last of Us Part 1. You play as Joel, a guy who's just trying to survive after a global outbreak wipes out most of the world. He ends up having to escort a young girl, Ellie, across the country, and the two slowly build a bond that becomes the heart of the whole game. The story is super grounded and emotional, and it's told with this quiet, serious tone that feels like a high-quality drama series. The cutscenes are amazing, but even the gameplay parts feel like some cinematic fight sequences. The way the characters move, talk, and react to things around them, it's all super natural. The graphics even back on PS3 were ahead of their time, and the remake, Part 1, just makes everything even cleaner. Lighting, animations, the way Joel reloads his gun, or Ellie leans on walls while sneaking, all of it just adds the feeling that you're not playing the typical game, you're living out a story with real characters and real emotions. Then you've got The Last of Us Part 2, and this one cranks the cinematic feeling up to 100. It's probably one of the smoothest and most movie-like games ever made. The transitions between cutscenes and gameplay are seamless. There's no fade to black, no janky loading screen. It just happens. One second you're watching a scene, the next second you're walking through it. That makes a huge difference in how immersive it feels. Both games have these quiet, slow moments too, like playing guitar, walking through a museum, or just riding a horse through the woods. Those moments let the world breathe, and they're shot in a way that feels personal. Not every game gives you that kind of space.
What do you think of this view, huh? It's pretty nice. Yeah, this route has its perks.
Ryse, Son of Rome. Now here's a super underrated one when it comes to cinematic vibes. Ryse, Son of Rome. This game came out as a launch title for the Xbox One, and honestly it still looks insanely good even today. Like visually, it holds up better than most games that came years later. It's pure cinema in Roman armor. Big battles, slow-mo kills, dramatic music, and a story that feels like watching a historical war movie. You play as Marius, a Roman soldier who goes from being a regular soldier to basically becoming this unstoppable warrior with a personal mission for revenge. The story is serious and kind of tragic, and it's told through big cutscenes with strong performances, great voice acting, and full motion captured characters that feel real. Even though the story is simple, the way it's presented makes it feel epic. What really makes Ryse feel cinematic though is how the gameplay and cutscenes blend together so smoothly. The transitions are clean, the camera always moves in this dramatic, movie-like way, and even during fights, the way Marius finishes off enemies looks like something straight out of a film. You'll slice a guy, grab his arm, spin around, and finish him off in slow motion with the sun shining through the battlefield. It's wild how good it looks in motion. The combat is simple but super flashy. It's mostly sword and shield action with a focus on timing, blocking, dodging, and doing finishing moves that look like fight choreography. The more cleanly you fight, the more brutal and cinematic the finishers get. Some people say it's repetitive, but honestly, if you're into the whole visual cinematic feel, it never really gets old. You're not here for deep systems, you're here to feel like a Roman badass in the middle of a war. The set pieces are also pretty big. You're storming beaches, holding off armies on city walls, marching through burning towns, and it's all backed by strong music and some of the best graphics of its time. The lighting, the armor detail, the slow-mo during action, everything is built to feel larger than life. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You follow Cloud and his crew, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, Red 13, and more, as they leave Midgar and start traveling across the open world, and man, some of the areas you explore are just beautiful. You've got glowing forests, giant plains, snowy mountains, beach towns, all of it shot with great camera angles and full of small cinematic touches. Even just walking around or talking with your party has this smooth movie-like presentation. The animations, the voice acting, the lighting, it's all really polished. The cutscenes are a big part of why it feels so cinematic. They're long, but they're good. The acting hits, the music swells at the right times, and it all blends perfectly with the gameplay. You'll go from exploring right into a big boss fight, then straight into a story scene, and it's all one seamless flow. And the combat system, it's flashy, but still gives you full control. You can fight in real time, slow things down to plan out moves, and pull off big team combos, and summon animations that look straight up epic. Now, to be real, the game does have some open world fluff. There are a bunch of side activities and little mini games that, while fun, can slow the pace down if you're just trying to stay locked into the main story. But the good news is, you can mostly skip that stuff if you want and just follow the core story, which is where the real magic happens. The cinematic moments really shine during the big emotional beats, the quieter character scenes, the late game reveals, and especially the moments where the music kicks in and the camera pulls back to show off the world. It's not just about big fights and drama, there's heart in here too. You actually care about these characters. That's what makes it hit different.
Got proof enough?
So yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might have some extra fluff on the side, but when you stick to the story, it's one of the most movie-like games you can play. Gorgeous visuals, emotional scenes, smooth transitions, and some of the best combat and storytelling in any modern RPG. Beyond Two Souls.
To items roll? So tired.
Is made by Quantic Dream, the same folks behind Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain, so you already know it's going to be all about story, acting, and big emotional moments. And yep, it definitely delivers on that. You play as Jodie Holmes, a girl who's connected to this invisible spirit named Aiden. She's not your typical action game protagonist. The story follows her from childhood to adulthood, showing how this connection to Aiden affects her life. Sometimes it's a gift, other times it's a curse. The twist is you don't just play as Jodie, you also control Aiden at times, which gives the game a really unique feel. Visually, it holds up well. The facial animations, lighting, and environments all look sharp, and the gameplay is pretty simple, which is both a good and bad thing, depending on what you're into. You walk around, interact with stuff, and make choices during conversations. When things get tense, you do some light action with quick-time events, or you move Aiden to float through walls, possess enemies, or knock objects around. The controls are low-key, but it fits the slower, story-driven vibe. This isn't about crazy combat, it's about living through Jodie's life and making decisions that shape her path. And the cinematic stuff really kicks in during the bigger scenes, like when Jodie's escaping the CIA or fighting enemies in the desert or going through some emotional breakdown in a storm. To keep it honest, not every scene hits the same. Some parts drag a bit and the story's timeline can feel a little messy at first, but by the end it all comes together in a way that makes sense and you feel like you've been through something meaningful. It's emotional, a little weird at times, but definitely different from most games out there. So yeah, Beyond Two Souls isn't for everyone, but if you want a game that leans hard into story, characters, and movie-style presentation, it's a solid pick. It's not flashy like Uncharted or God of War, but it's emotional, smooth, and totally cinematic in its own quiet way.
Titans roll? So tired. Welcome to my life.
Johnny, what have you done?
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is hands down one of the most cinematic games to drop recently. Like, if you ever wanted to be Indiana Jones, not just play as him, this is it. Full movie vibes from start to finish. You're dropped straight into this classic indie style adventure, ancient temples, lost artifacts, Nazis of course, and crazy set pieces that feel like they're ripped straight out of a summer blockbuster. The game's mostly first person, which sounds weird for a story heavy title, but honestly, it works perfectly. It makes everything feel super immersive, like you're right there, dodging traps and throwing punches with your own hands. One of the biggest strengths of this game is how smooth everything flows. The cutscenes blend right into gameplay with almost no loading or breaks. You'll be having a quiet chat with a character, then suddenly, boom! You're in a chase scene hanging from a Nazi blimp over Vatican. Visually, the game looks great, especially the environments. Vatican City, the Himalayas, tombs, jungles, everything is packed with little details. You can tell they really wanted this to feel like the classic films. Even the smaller character moments, like Indy just talking with someone, feel cinematic thanks to the solid facial animation and voice work. Oh, and by the way, Troy Baker does the voice for Indy, and he nailed it. Like, scary close to Harrison Ford. Mafia Definitive Edition. One of the most slept on cinematic bangers out there. If you're into games that feel like an old school mob movie, this thing absolutely nails the vibe. So this is a full remake of the original Mafia game from 2002, but they didn't just slap on some better textures. Nah, they rebuilt it completely. New voice acting, updated cutscenes, improved gameplay, and visuals that legit look like a high budget crime drama. It's got that real sit back and watch the story unfold energy, but you're in control the whole way. You play as Tommy Angelo, a regular cab driver who gets pulled into the mob life during the 1930s. And it's not just crime for fun stuff, it's serious, character-driven storytelling. You see his whole rise through the ranks of the Salieri crime family, all the moral conflicts, the betrayals, the regrets. It's got heart, man. Tommy's not some over-the-top gangster, he's a regular guy who gets in deep and starts questioning if the life is worth it. Now, what really makes Mafia Definitive Edition feel cinematic is how it's directed. Every cutscene is sharp, great camera angles, super clean lighting, and voice acting that actually feels like it's from a real mob flick. The facial animations are solid too, which makes the emotional moments hit way harder. You'll feel it when Tommy starts to crack, or when things go south with the people he thought he could trust. The City of Lost Heaven also helps set the mood. It's not full of side missions or collectibles like modern open-world games, but it looks amazing. Rain-soaked streets, old cars, glowing neon signs, the whole city feels alive in a cinematic way. You're not supposed to treat it like a playground, you're just living in it, moving from mission to mission like scenes in a film. So yeah, Mafia Definitive Edition isn't about open world chaos or RPG leveling systems, it's about story, mood, characters, and that classic mob movie feel. If you like your games tight, emotional, and cinematic as hell, this one's a must. It's short, but every chapter hits. The Quarry.
I told you
you kids to check everything.
Look, it's not that big of a deal, okay? We'll just spend one more night here.
No.
Here you are, dropped you into this old summer camp deep in the woods, the kind of place that already feels sketchy even if nothing's happening. You play as this group of teens just hanging around after the camp season's over, kind of messing around, planning to have one last night of fun before heading home. But of course, stuff goes sideways real fast. The game starts off slow in a good way, letting you explore, talk to people, mess around a bit, but the whole time there's this creepy vibe in the background. You see weird stuff out in the woods, you hear things, and you just know something's coming. And once it kicks off, man, it goes hard. You've got monsters, people hunting you, blood everywhere, total chaos. The places you go in this game are sick too. There's this old lodge that's all dusty and dark, rundown cabins, spooky woods where you can barely see 2 feet in front of you, and even a creepy bunker underground. Everything's detailed and lit just right so it keeps you on edge. Even when nothing's happening, it's tense.
Should we look?
Gameplay's simple, mostly walking around, picking what to say, making quick choices when stuff goes down. You're not here for combat or crazy gameplay loops. You're here to experience the story and maybe panic a little when the screen goes quiet and you know something's about to pop out. And yes, sometimes it leans into that cheesy horror stuff, but that's kind of the point. It's got that fun, spooky movie feel, like the stuff you throw on with friends at night, but now you're deciding who lives and who gets wrecked. Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight is the kind of game that doesn't try too hard to be flashy, but still ends up feeling like a full-on Batman movie you get to play. It's dark, smooth, and keeps things serious without going off the rails. Out of all the Arkham games, this one probably looks and feels the most like something you'd see on the big screen, just with you behind the controller. The game starts off with Gotham basically falling apart. Scarecrow's back, threatening to hit the whole city with his fear gas, so people evacuate, leaving behind a ghost town full of thugs and weirdos. It's just Batman, his crew, and a whole bunch of bad guys running around. That's where you step in. You get dropped right into it, no long tutorials or anything. Just you, your suit, and a city to clean up, and it plays super smooth. Whether you're gliding through the air, diving between rooftops, or jumping straight into a fight, everything feels responsive and easy to control. The game never gets in your way. One of the biggest things people talk about with this game is the Batmobile, since this is the first Arkham game that lets you actually drive it around the city. Some folks didn't love it, but honestly, it works fine. It's fast, it can transform into a tank, and you can even use it during fights or puzzles. It's not perfect, but once you get used to it, it's fun to use and it makes you feel more like Batman. The city of Gotham looks amazing too. It's big but not empty. It's not stuffed with boring side content like other open world games. Everything has a purpose. The rain, the lighting, the glowing signs, it all adds to the mood. It never feels too colorful or fake. It just feels right for Batman. Now the story here isn't just about stopping Scarecrow. There's this new villain, the Arkham Knight, who knows all about Batman and seems to really hate him. The mystery around who he is builds up slowly, and while some players might see it coming, it still plays out in a cool way. And then there's Joker. Yeah, even though he's dead, he's still hanging around in Batman's head, messing with him. Those moments are actually some of the best parts. It shows a different side of Batman. Tired, paranoid, and kind of broken, but still pushing forward. The combat is classic Arkham stuff, super fluid. You press a few buttons and Batman's flipping, punching, countering, using gadgets mid-fight. It all feels natural and looks good without you needing to memorize a bunch of combos. Same with the stealth sections. Sneaking through vents, dropping from ledges, quietly taking people out one by one. It's all really satisfying, especially when you plan it right and no one even sees you coming. So yeah, Arkham Knight is one of the best examples of a cinematic game done right. It keeps the focus on the story, lets you move through the city at your own pace, and never overwhelms you with extra nonsense. It respects your time, looks great, and feels like you're living out the final chapter of Batman's story. Not watching it, but actually being the guy in the suit. Spiderman 2. From the moment it starts, it throws you right into the action. The city looks amazing, the lighting, the reflections, the way everything moves, it all feels super clean and polished, and the way the camera follows Spidey when you're swinging through New York, yeah, it's smooth, real smooth. Every little swing, flip, and trick feels like you're watching a scene straight out of a Marvel movie. This time around, you get to play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, which adds some nice variety. They each have their own powers, and switching between them is super quick. 1 second you're Peter webbing up bad guys, the next you're Miles zipping through the air with electricity powers. It keeps the action fresh and looks cool every time. The fights are fast, flashy, and fun to watch. Lots of big animations, clean camera angles, and when you're pulling off combos, it really does feel like you're in a superhero film. Boss fights too, like the ones with Venom or Sandman, are huge and full of crazy effects. The game loves to give you those epic cinematic moments where everything slows down just enough to let you enjoy how badass it looks. But here's the thing, the game feels short. Not like super short, but for a big superhero game like this, it ends sooner than you'd expect. The story hits hard and fast, and before you know it, the credits are rolling. Also, while the open world stuff is fun at first, it starts to feel a little copy-paste after a while. You're chasing drones, stopping crimes, collecting things, all the usual stuff. And some of it feels a bit too familiar if you played the last two games. Still, the overall package is strong. Visually, it's one of the best looking games out there. The acting, the music, the set pieces, everything comes together to give you that big cinematic experience. Yeah, it could have been longer and some side content feels like filler, but the main story and core gameplay, super tight. Ghost of Tsushima. This one's a straight up samurai movie you can play. It doesn't just look cinematic, it feels like you're in one of those old school, slow burn, serious Japanese films, but with clean modern gameplay and smooth controls. You play as Jin Sakai, a samurai trying to protect his island during a Mongol invasion. At first he's all about honor and tradition, but as things get worse, he starts changing. He has to let go of some of that old school samurai code and do whatever it takes to fight back, even if it means using stealth, fear, or just straight up slicing through enemies in the shadows. That shift in his character, that's what the whole game's about, not just killing dudes, but what it does to him. Now visually, man, this game is gorgeous. Every scene looks like a painting. You've got golden forests, misty mountains, fields full of flowers blowing in the wind. It's all crazy detailed, and the camera always frames stuff in a way that feels super cinematic. Like sometimes you'll just be riding your horse through the grass with the sun setting behind you, and it looks like a shot from a movie without you even trying. The combat is clean too. It's not overcomplicated, but every fight feels tight and focused. You've got sword duels, parries, standoffs, all with these crisp animations that feel super smooth, there's weight behind every hit, and when you get a clean kill, it feels earned. The way blood sprays, the way enemies react, it's brutal but in a calm, controlled way. Cutscenes and gameplay blend really well. You'll go from a quiet moment with Jin talking to an old friend, to sneaking into a Mongol camp in the dark, to a big open battle, all without any janky transitions. The music also kicks in at just the right times, soft and calm when you're exploring, but intense and dramatic when things go down. It really pulls you into the world. Now, yeah, there's some open world stuff that gets a little repetitive, like collecting foxes or clearing out enemy camps, but it's not that bad. The map feels natural, and the way the wind guides you instead of using a boring GPS marker is a small touch, but it's dope. It keeps you in the world without breaking the immersion. Alan Wake 2. Now this one's pure atmosphere. Like if you're into story-heavy games that feel like you're watching a slow burn mystery thriller, this one delivers big time. It's not loud or packed with non-stop action, it's more about the vibe, the tension, and the way it pulls you into this creepy, twisted world. You switch between two characters, Alan Wake's the writer trapped in this weird nightmare world, and Saga Anderson, an FBI agent trying to solve a case that starts getting real strange. Their stories are connected, but they're seeing it from totally different angles titles, and that back and forth, flipping between them makes the story feel deeper and more layered, almost like watching 2 episodes of the same show play out side by side. Now, what makes this game feel super cinematic is the way it's shot and edited. There are full-on live-action scenes mixed with gameplay, like actual filmed footage blended right into the game. Sometimes you're walking down a hallway and it turns into this trippy, dreamlike moment with flashing lights and live actors on screen. It's wild, but it works. It never feels like a gimmick. It adds to the whole "is this real or not" feeling that the game leans into. Visually, the game is dark, but in a clean way. Forest, cabins, creepy small towns, everything has that horror movie lighting, flashlights, shadows, weird flickers of light in the distance. It all feels carefully set up, like scenes from a movie. It's moody, quiet, and full of tension. Sometimes you're just slowly walking, nothing's happening, but you feel the pressure building the whole time. Gameplay-wise, it's simple but tight. You've got that flashlight and gun combo again, shining light on enemies to make them vulnerable, then taking them down. But it's not about waves of enemies or crazy fights. Most of the time, you're exploring, reading clues, solving small puzzles, and just soaking in the world. It's more about the journey and the weird stuff you uncover. The writing is solid too. Alan's sections especially feel like you're inside his head, literally sometimes. He's a writer, so his thoughts are part of the story, and the game leans into that hard. Pages of a story appear before things happen. You're walking through events he's already written, or maybe he's writing them as they happen. It's trippy but cool. Only downside, it's not for everyone. The pacing can feel slow if you're not into that heavy story, and it's definitely weird at times. But if you're into games that feel like you're watching a mystery series with horror vibes, this thing nails it.
Converge on the facility now.
The Plague Tale Requiem. Now we're getting into A Plague Tale Requiem, and man, this one is pure cinematic emotion. Like, it doesn't just look good, it hits hard too. It's one of those games where the story and the visuals work together so smoothly, it feels like you're watching and playing through a full-on medieval drama. You're back playing as Amicia, still trying to protect her little brother Hugo, who's got this weird power tied to a plague of rats. Yeah, still rats. And yeah, still brutal, but this time the story is darker, deeper, and way more intense. You're not just running from soldiers or trying to escape a city. Now you're crossing entire regions, trying to find a cure, and watching these 2 kids basically lose their childhood along the way. Visually, this game is stunning. Like, for real, some of the best graphics out there. Whether it's a bright field of flowers, a foggy ruined village, or a nighttime escape with torches lighting the path, it always looks amazing. The camera pulls back at just the right moments to show you big open views, or zooms in tight when it wants you to feel the tension. And it's all seamless. Cutscenes and gameplay blend right into each other, no awkward jumps or loading screens. It just flows. The cinematic feel really comes through in the way the story is told. The acting is strong, especially from Amicia. She's angry, scared, desperate. All of it feels real. And Hugo, he's still a kid, but you can tell he's changing. The things he sees, the choices he's forced into, it's rough. The story doesn't hold back, and it doesn't treat these characters like superheroes. They're just trying to survive. Gameplay is still kind of stealth-focused with puzzles and light combat, but it's stepped up from the first game. Amicia is tougher now. She can fight back more, use more tools, and take on enemies head-on if she has to. But even then, it never turns into an action game. You still feel small. The danger always feels close. And when the rats show up, bro, it's insane. Like rivers of them. 1,000. They pour through cracks, break through walls, flood buildings. It looks incredible and terrifying. A Plague Tale Requiem is basically a story-driven, emotional, dark medieval film, but you're in control. It's got heart, it's got incredible visuals, and it knows how to keep things grounded. It's sad, intense, and totally worth it if you want a game that feels like something real and heavy.
Lucas, I feel my mind going. I know. Think of your brother. We have to carry on. Oh no.
Also, now before we end the video, here are some honorable mentions. Life is Strange.
Bracelet. Give it to me right now, asshole!
You better step back before you regret it, girl.
Who you're messing around with?
Psycho! No!
I know I'm not dreaming this. I hope I did everything right this time.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Witcher 3.
Do a lot to find their daughters.
Heavy Rain.
If he moves, we know about it.
Is it true? Are you the killer, Ethan?
The killer is walking around free as we speak.
Ethan Mars is innocent. I can prove it.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Look into the fire. It will warm you, keep you company. But left unchecked, it will consume everything until there is only ash.
Yakuza 6. Until Dawn.